Hello again, welcome back. It's me, Alan Barratt, and this is the latest edition of Grenade Pull the Pin, which we always say is business, brand and banter. But the more astute viewers will have realised by now, it's mostly me just chatting shit with my mates. So, today's no different. Who is today's guest? He loves a fish finger sandwich. His pet hates dirty rims, so there's nothing he loves more than a thorough rimming. He can often be found with his hand up a boxer's tailpipe. That's a Derek Chisora reference. He's the country's top rapper, not the talented musical kind. It's only Yianni Charalambous. It's only Yianni. You knew I was going to do that.
I knew.
Bruv.
No.
Welcome.
No. Do you know what?
How to pronounce your surname?
Charalambous. It's Greek.
Oh, come on. No one can pronounce that. It's impossible. It's an impossible word. It's a made-up word.
Well, can I just say something? If we're going this way, yeah?
Yeah, we're going this way.
You see the way you started that?
Yeah.
Why did you change your voice?
Why?
Yeah.
I did the same thing you did. I got that from you.
That was very professional voice. Hi, so it's Al. And it's,
Al, pull the pin. Welcome to... Yeah. You go up about 3 notches. I notice you're like, boom! Bruv! In it, bruv. That's more Darren Cartel.
Not everyone is like that from London, by the way.
No.
I'm very
on my
professional.
head.
That's it. So, yeah, my name's Yianni, and Yianni Charalambous, and I'm from Yianni.
Is that it?
That's it. Simple.
What if people haven't heard of Yianni, which, let's face it, it's most people. I mean, it's not the powerhouse that is Grenade. You've done all right.
It's very different.
It is different.
It's a very different industry.
Tell us about Yianni, because look, just to reintroduce you as well, I love businesses and brands and entrepreneurs, and this is one of my favourite businesses, to be honest, because I know very little about it, but I love cars, as you know. And it fascinates me how you do what you do and why everyone who's anyone comes to you. I mean, I've met you, so that's the biggest mystery, if I'm honest.
Yianni is a car customizing business, but known around wrapping. And so for people that don't know what wrapping is where you change the colour of the car by applying vinyl to the paintwork. So people back in the day would paint
cling
their
film,
car.
basically. Posh cling film.
Yeah, it's posh cling film that I charge a lot of money for. So yeah, back in the day, if you had a black car and you want to make it white, you'd have to paint it. Nowadays, you put vinyl material over and you can change it from black to white. And then if you get bored, you can actually take the vinyl back off and put the car back to the original colour.
And you don't have to re-register the car, do you? Because it's classed as temporary.
Exactly, it's temporary colour change.
How long has it been around? Because I just think if it the last sort of 3 or 4 years, but I'm guessing if you know, it's been around a lot longer.
Yes, I've been doing it for 15 years. But before, so people would know wrapping from, let's say, the Sky vans. You know, with the Sky vans where you'd have like the Simpsons on the back, or you'd have Sky Sports. That is wrapping, but people would do it on vans.
You didn't do that, did you? The Sky vans, because that was probably quite a good cock. Could they not afford you?
No, yeah, they couldn't. Back then, it was before my time. But
You'd have done it if I'd asked, wouldn't you?
Exactly, but people didn't do cars. People weren't doing cars, and I was like, well, hold on a minute, we're missing a trick here. And if you listen, you know, you love cars. You buy a car. For you to sell that car and then go and buy another car in another colour, you're going to lose money on this end. Then you're going to buy a new car and lose money on the back end. Whereas now, you can actually wrap the car for $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, depending on the car and the colour. And then it's like you bought a new car.
I'm going to constantly talk you down on price because I've got 2 cars coming up I need you to wrap. So let's not talk about the 5-figure range. Let's talk about the 3-figure range.
Okay, if you've got a smart car, no problem at all. And I know you ain't got a smart car.
Can you see me in a smart car?
No.
I quite like. They used to do a Brabus edition smart car. I quite fancy it. Really?
I've got a
smart
Brabus.
car.
I love it.
Is that because you live in London and it's the biggest thing that you can get?
No, but I do like a smart car Brabus. It's just a tool.
I've never been in one, but I really want one.
Do you know how big they are inside? You'll be very surprised.
Really?
Yeah, you'll think it's no. Listen, Daniel, my best friend Daniel's 6'5", and me and him sit in that car, no problem at all.
Really?
And I'm 6'2". So yeah.
It's TARDIS. I want to go now.
You need to get one. We'll get you one.
I need to get one. Yeah, because otherwise I know you've got lots of supercars, and I was in London last week and I'm looking at some of these cars, and I can't imagine worse cars in London than supercars, Defenders.
London has changed. London used to be the place where you'd go and you go Sloane Street, you go Knightsbridge, you go around there and you drive your car and it's incredible. Now they've changed it to 20 mile an hour and the police are so hot on everything. And if you've got a loud car, they're pulling you over. It's really restricted. Like, I don't like driving in London anymore.
Is that why people wrap the cars now? So if they actually get caught speeding or doing something, they can quickly change the identity of the car. Well, not quickly if you do it, but they change the identity of the car and then, shh, it's another car. And no one knows.
They'd never know.
They'd never know.
They'd never know.
They'd never know. Right, so wrapping cars. So is this all you've ever done? I mean, it can't be your only job.
No.
So, okay. So how did you get started in wrapping cars?
So cars was something that I was always passionate about, but I worked in...
What was your first car?
My first car was a Fiesta 1.1L. And the L was for like loser.
I was going to take the piss, but mine was a G-Reg Fiat Panda.
G-Reg. So
It was shit even
we're
then.
we're same age, same generation. So yeah, so I had the Fiesta and I wanted the XR2. Couldn't afford the insurance.
Yeah.
But I wanted the pepper pot wheels, which was on the XR2.
I remember.
So I bought them and put them on the car to make it look like an XR2. So you know when you see people driving around and they put M3 badge on the back of a 320 BMW,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, I done it on my Fiesta.
I wanted a Fiesta RS Turbo.
Nice.
Thing is, I should have bought one and kept it because it's probably worth about 10 times more than
Yeah.
it cost back then now. Do you remember Renault 5 GT Turbo?
Come on, this is my generation.
205 1.9 GTI,
Yes,
not the 1.6.
and the 1.6.
Not but the 1.9.
Yep.
Mark 1 Golf GTI, Mark 2 Golf GTI.
Fiat Uno Turbo.
Oh, I do remember the Fiat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, actually, that would have been my next logical step. So my second car after my Fiat Panda, as I was quite a big lad at the time, I was sort of 17 stone, I was really into some bodybuilding. I used to get a lot of road rage in that car because obviously...
Road rage or roid rage?
Road rage because I wasn't the best. You know, like you pass your test, you think you're an amazing driver,
Yeah.
don't you? Yeah. I'd cut everyone up. I was a terrible driver, and it was one of those cars that really annoyed everyone. It was like a Nissan Micra.
Okay.
Just instantly give people horrible road
Yeah.
rage, and like lorries had cut me up, and so then I'd jump out. They weren't expecting some sort of 17 stone bodybuilder to leap out of a Fiat Panda. So. Yeah, they'd often run off. But yeah, I then got a Suzuki Swift GTI, which was unusual at the time. 1.3 GTI, 16 valve, unusual at the time.
Okay, I went to, for my Fiesta, I went to a Renault 19 16 valve.
Oh, nice.
Phase 2 on a K-Ridge.
That wasn't a Chamard, was it? Around 19 Chamard.
No,
Was
the
that
Chamard
different?
was the 4-door, wasn't it? Mine was the 2-door.
That's right,
So the
the
16
2-doors
valve
like that.
Phase 2, and I wrote that off.
Do you think we need to get out more?
Yeah, well, I wrote that off and I got banned for dangerous driving for 12 months.
A friend of mine had a Renault 19. He's probably listening to this. And as a practical joke, we hid a fish under the seat.
Oh, don't do that.
It was a red mullet. And he didn't find it. And it smelt that bad. He couldn't get rid of the smell.
And you'd never get rid of that smell, by the way. That car's ruined.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he had to have the car crushed.
That was a bit extreme.
Yeah, sorry about
I think-
that, Mark,
I think-
if you're listening to this. It was funny at the time for us.
I think you could have sold it to someone else. I don't think you had to get it crushed.
He's going to remind me, I owe him a car. I'd probably forgotten, to be honest. He loved that car as well. Anyway, so, so you were into cars. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was into cars. I was passionate about cars, but I worked at a place called Do It All.
I remember Do It All.
I used to wear the blue dungarees.
Really?
Yeah, work on the till. I used to mix paint, cut wood. I was that guy.
I can't see you doing that.
I was 16. I used to get a bus to work, and back then the bus was like 30p. Okay, so we're old. We're old.
That was a long time ago. Yeah. Was that actually? When was the last time you got the bus? I can't actually remember the last time I got a bus. Years ago.
I can't remember the last time I got on a bus, and to be fair, I don't use London transport. I'm a car guy, so I always drive it.
Yeah,
Even if I've got to
yeah.
drive into London, wherever, I'll always drive somewhere.
Thanks for coming here, by the way. Only took you 2 months. Yianni was supposed to come in December to line up with the humdinger content we did, which we'll come on to in a moment. And there was a frost, wasn't there? If you remember, in London, there was a very
Wasn't
light
a frost.
There was
The
light.
snow was like.
There was a. Don't exaggerate. There was a light frost. And then we'd organised, pulled the pit. Everything was done. The catering was done. I'd rearranged my busy schedule. He didn't want to come in here. He was making a bit of a song and dance about it. And then it was like, it was a very light frost. And he messaged me and went, "Oh, bruv, the snow, bruv, I'm stuck. I'm snowed in. You need to get a 4x4.
I did have a 4x4. I had a
I know.
Defender. And I was still snowed in. It was ridiculous. The motorways were all shut because, you know why? Because in the UK, we're not good at anything.
No, we do. It's because we don't get enough of it, do we?
But let's be straight.
Yeah.
When it rains, we have floods.
Yeah.
Okay. When it snows, everything stops. When the leaves hit the lines, the trains stop.
Yeah.
Okay. And when it's sunny, we have a hosepipe ban.
Yeah, we do.
So we're not actually good at anything in the UK.
We're still on I've got a boat down south, and there's still a hosepipe ban down at the marina there, and it hasn't stopped raining for 4 months. And I can't understand how there's still a hosepipe ban. We've had like 4 feet of water in that
That's what I'm
time.
saying.
But no, you do make a good point. I'm only winding you up, but I know as well, getting you from London is like getting me to London. It's fine when you're there,
Yeah.
but it's a long way when you're busy.
To be fair, it was a 2-hour drive, and literally I was just on the phone the whole way up
Well,
here.
we need to get you. I'm surprised your nose isn't bleeding. We need to get some tissues in case.
I had to get my passport out.
Yeah, he's so far north of the M25 now.
Yeah, it's weird for me. But do you know what it is?
Did you wonder what these green things were as well? Like these,
Never seen
first
trees
time we've never seen
before.
trees before.
Never
No,
seen trees. But you know what? I'll be honest. When I come out of London, I actually really enjoy it. You know, people are a lot nicer out of London.
That's true.
As much as I'm from London, I'm London born and bred. I have a big fan base outside of London, and whenever I go to different places, people are really, really nice and they're friendly and they show so much more love. I think London, just people are a bit more up themselves and they think I've got money and I live in London and I'm special. And it's like,
everyone's busy as well, aren't they? And there's somewhere they've got to be, and everyone's stressed because it's so busy. And to go 3 miles takes 4 hours, and it's a bit like New York. So it's a great city, but you're not getting the best out of people. So welcome to the country.
Thank you. Anyway, it's very nice. Yeah, and the weather's not bad either.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not snow. It never snows here. It does snow, but we've got little midgets that come out and clean it, and little Oompa Loompas basically clear away the snow. So we were supposed to do this back then, but we're on it now. So anyway, you're in Do It All. You're mixing paint.
That's it.
Did you ever revelate? Did you learn stuff from that job? Because
of course.
Every entrepreneur as well has got an amazing backstory of things they learn.
I had to pass, and I can drive a forklift truck.
Oh,
I had to get a certificate to drive the forklift truck, and a certificate to mix paint, and a certificate to cut wood. Because back then you had to have certificates before you were allowed to do anything.
I can drive a forklift, but not legally.
Okay, well,
I never did my test because I owned the building and the forklift, so the test didn't exist. But in my head, I'd have passed. I was pretty good.
You were pretty good. It was fun, though. I used to enjoy it. And then I worked at Office World. So these places, by the way, don't exist anymore. Not because I work there. But Yanni worked there, business went down. Yanni worked there, business went down.
He stole that many staples from Office World. That subsequently went bust.
It used to be Office World, and inside you had a concession called PC World, where they started doing computers, the early days of computers. Because I used to sell typewriters in Office World, and then obviously it was PC World where they've done computers and PCs, where it was like, wow, what's a computer?
People have listened to this going, what's a typewriter?
Mate.
Honestly, I remember. It's
brutal. And I was the youngest assistant manager in Office World, which was really, really cool. 19.
Okay.
So it was really, really good. And then
was it a low bar though?
I haven't signed up for this. Okay, I haven't.
You're here now. I'm
here now.
You were warned.
To the chair. I can't get out now either.
You were warned.
I've done that, and then I worked in recruitment in the city, which I loved.
I don't see you doing that at all.
Salesman, loud.
Do you know what this screams of to me is not quite knowing what you wanted to do.
100%.
And you try, which is really common, and you try lots of different things. And no doubt enjoyed all to various degrees, but I guess you're just looking for that one thing that you could be really good at. Yeah. I know you've probably not found it yet, but if you do, then...
I was in retail for so long, and obviously I never knew like a Saturday you could have a Saturday off. Because I'd worked, and it was always Saturdays. I always worked, and majority of Sundays. So Do It All was Saturday and Sunday. Marks and Spencer's Saturday and Sunday. Office World Saturday and Sunday. So I worked in Marks and Spencer's in Brent Cross for years, and I loved it there. And I wanted to earn more money, and I worked in where they return, like the returns department. So, and I wanted to actually be like, how can I earn more money? They said, well, if you want to work in foods and work overnight, do the night shifts, you can earn more money. I was like, okay then. So I used to do the night shift. So I'd turn up to work at 8 o'clock and work till 6 in the morning. Sleep till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and have the rest of the day before I went back to work.
Do you know what? I did exactly the same, but for security. I worked in a gym all day, worked in a nightclub all night, grabbed a few hours sleep, went back to work at the nightclub. Interesting, because that was where you could earn money years ago.
Exactly.
Doing
and people
doing
don't realise. People when they look at us and they think, okay, well, you drive a nice car and you've got nice watches and you've got a big house, and it's like
the grafting.
You don't realise what we've done to get to where we are. And the problem is with social media nowadays, everything looks like it's done overnight.
Yeah,
and it's like so you see the end results rather than thinking, hold on a minute, what did it take to get to that level?
Do you know what? Instant gratification, and I hate that. I think it's the worst thing about social media is it has sped things up, definitely, but I think worse than that, it's created the illusion of speeding things up. And I always say with us, like, we were a 30-year overnight success because I spent 30 years in the industry. Yep. And great, it took 10 years. But that's the thing. You do suddenly go from what appears to be nothing, or you can create the perception of it being nothing. And I think the thing about social media is it's perception versus reality. You can make things look a lot more successful than you really are, especially around cars and stuff. Yeah, of course, it's highlight reel. Yeah.
And listen, I had a Ferrari in 2003, my first Lambo in 2006. When I had my Ferrari in 2003, there was no rental companies. So when you owned a Ferrari back then, you owned the Ferrari, and you knew, okay, that's his car. Anyone can drive a Lambo, Ferrari, Porsche, Bentley now, and you've got no idea whether they own it or not now. Yeah. So the perception is very, very easy. You understand? So you can portray that you've got wealth, and you can portray you're really successful, but behind the scenes, you probably live at home with your mum in a flat.
Do you know what things have changed as well? So I'll tell you a bit of an early Ferrari story. So Stuart, who I introduced to you the other week, I used to be his personal trainer. And this is a really successful friend of mine from sort of 30 years ago, very much into his cars. And there was a new Ferrari that was coming out. This was a long time ago. and one of his cars wouldn't start, and I'd take him to the gym or picked him up from the gym. And he said on the way back, he said, "Can we just drop into this car dealership? There's this new Ferrari I want to have a look at." So we kind of go in and got shell suits on because it's the 90s, so we're in our shell suits.
Love it.
You know, and I'm 18 on minimum wage. You know, I'm with a client, and we're looking at we go into this Ferrari dealership looking at the cars. And one of the sales guys comes over and says, "Sorry, gents, if you want to look at the cars, you'll have to stand outside and look through the window." And I can't imagine that happening now, because back then I think a certain type of person would drive a certain type of car.
And you would dress a certain way.
You would dress a certain way. And I'll never forget his reaction, because he kind of completely ignored the guy. And just, you know, in his sort of own very, very polite sort of style, he just said to one of the guys at the back of the showroom, who immediately recognised him. And he just said, "Oh, I'll get 2 of these, please, and I don't want him to serve me."
Yeah.
And it was just, and I thought back then, you don't judge a book by its cover, do you? So interesting how things have changed with that sort of perception. Yeah, that would have been the 90s, so pre-social media and whatever. But
it was a simpler time. Let's be honest. Listen, I love social media. Without social media, I wouldn't have my business, my brand, my client base, and to get it out there to the masses. So if you use social media to your advantage, it's incredible. But the majority of people, social media was about posting what you're doing and having fun with it. And then it became like a business tool. And for me, when Instagram came around, people were like, "You need to get on Instagram." I'm like, "What's Instagram?" And literally, it was like it was made for me. Because cars, people love cars, and people love cars around the world. And all I had to do was walk from upstairs my office and go into my showroom, and I got cars everywhere. I can post, and people are like, "Wow, wow, wow."
All the time,
wow.
yeah.
And then when you get, and obviously my client base is the who's who, everyone. So I can sit here and say like Simon Cowell, Gordon Ramsay, JLS, One Direction, Aubameyang, every football player, Didier Drogba, John Terry, and Al Barratt, exactly. But what I mean by that is, so you do one player, okay, and then you get the rest of the team. So I've done, for example, William Gallas, who played for Arsenal, but he used to play for Chelsea. So when I done William's car, he's got John Terry to ring me and said, "Oh, can I get a card?" And then John Terry gave me Didier Drogba. I went to a JLS Christmas party. You know JLS?
Yeah, I do.
So I went to JLS Christmas party, and One Direction were there. And then Harry and Liam were like, "Yianni," I'm like, "Wow, you don't know who I am. Like, you lot are One Direction. You lot are huge." And it's surreal. And then I remember, I'll tell you a quick story about Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell got his PA to ring the office. And she's like obviously 100 years. And she's like, "Oh, I've got Simon Cowell for you." I'm like, "Okay." So Simon Cowell comes on the phone. I was like, "Hi, Simon." He's like, "Oh, hi, Yianni."
Did you call him bruv?
Yeah, Brethren.
Brethren,
Yes, bruv. And so he came on the phone. He was like, "So I've got a Tesla." He goes, when I take little Eric to school, there's like 10
got a Tesla.
Yeah, he's got loads of cars, but
he
goes, "Well, when I take little Eric to school, there's like 10 Teslas there in black." He goes, "I want something different." So I'm thinking, are we going to go grey or like a blue or something like that? Chrome red.
Really?
Chrome red. And he didn't just do the car chrome red. You know, you have chrome around the windows, like silver chrome.
Yeah.
So I was thinking chrome red and then go black, gloss black. No, I want them chrome red as well. Everything was chrome red. It was on Britain's Got Talent. It was on all of his shows, and he loved it. But imagine Simon Cowell chrome red. And I said to him, "Have you ever put it into ludicrous mode?" And he's like, "Yianni, I'll put it into ludicrous plus." And I was like, wow, my guy. And he was great. And then when I delivered the car, I took it to his house, and he was there, and Eric was there, and his missus was there, and he was really, really cool. And that was, I'm a big believer in putting things out there in the universe. And the question I used to always get asked was, which celebrity's car would you like to wrap? And it was always Simon Cowell. It was always Simon Cowell, and eventually we done it.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, I need to find a new person now.
You do. Al Barratt. I'm no Simon Cowell, to be fair. But
you look younger than him, though.
I do look younger.
And your trousers are a little bit lower.
Yeah, they're a bit lower. Yeah. I think the thing is as well, though, because so with some of these cars, like, you know, when we sort of spec and order a car, you don't want to take a risk. I don't want to take a risk, because if something turns up and you don't like it, you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
So people probably play it safe with a lot of those cars, but because of what you do, they don't have to play it safe. So that's probably a real side of Simon's personality that was dying to get out, but didn't really want to take the risk because he wouldn't. And again, they probably wouldn't have done that anyway, because they just want to kind of churn out these sort of stock colours. So it does probably enable people to be a little bit more who they really want to be. And they can just change it. You're not stuck with it.
This is why a lot of people will order a black car or a grey car, because they're like, you know what, for resale, black and grey are always the best two colours. But if you want to go and wrap it in pink or green or orange or yellow or holographic or psychedelic, it doesn't matter, because that is for you and that's your personal preference. And then when you sell the car, you can put it up for sale in that colour. You can say, "Listen, you can have it in my mint green colour, or I can take the wrap off and it'll be black."
Yeah.
So you can choose what you want. So you get the best of both worlds.
What's the weirdest colour you've done that you just think that you've... taking you by surprise.
The biggest backlash we got was we done psychedelics. A psychedelic is like like when you pour oil on the floor.
Yeah,
so
like a tie-dye sort of type.
Yeah, like oil. And we done it on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's La Ferrari. Now, La Ferrari is a La Ferrari, yeah, and everyone says a Ferrari should be red, and obviously we done it in this colour. And if I tell you, the comments were like, he should have his Ferrari taken off him. Enzo Ferrari's turning in his grave. How dare he do that? Honestly, it was unbelievable. It was great for me because the exposure and the promo, it was all over the newspaper, it was online, it was everywhere. But we got a huge backlash for it. But the car looked great. And listen, he was playing for Arsenal. He's banging in goals. He's top goal scorer. You can wrap it in poo because you're about it. It don't matter, does it? You can do what you want because of who you are. And he was like, I don't care what people are saying. And he's very out there with the way he dresses. He's in gold and big bling and stuff. Mate, when you're that sort of person.
So how then did you go? We've missed this section out. How did you then go from where you were? And I think the last
recruitment.
You're in office world.
I was in recruitment. You're in
M&S. Sorry, yeah. You're in recruitment.
Yeah.
And then you've decided to go and start as like a one-man band. You just started a business. How did it work?
In between that, I had a phone shop, a car wash, a hairdresser's, a milkshake shop. I had loads of businesses, and some done well, some failed.
Please tell me you've still got some of those.
No, they're all sold.
Oh, they're all gone.
They're all sold. Yeah, they're all sold.
I love a chocolate milk as well.
Yeah, I had a milkshake early days. It was called Milkshake City, and my logo, was the cow, the rear end of the cow, but it was an M for the milkshake.
Clever.
On the M.
I see what you did there.
It was a wicked logo, and it was Milkshake City with the cow. So we had that, and just to give you an idea, we had JLS open that for us.
Really?
And all the football players in Free and Barnet in North London. And when I tell you, the police turned up and were fuming. They're like, you should have told us. I'm like, I didn't expect all these thousands of people to turn up. We had football players, musicians, everyone there.
Why did they open your milkshake shop?
Because they're friends of mine.
Oh, okay.
I've done their cars.
Oh, so you had the milkshake shop after you'd already got Yianni.
Yeah, I'd had Yianni, but Yianni was growing, and I was like, let's have a milkshake shop. But I still had a few celebrities. Yeah, so it was a crossover. But then, so cars was something that I was passionate about. I always wanted to be in the car industry, and I always say that if you do something that you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, of course.
And cars was always something that I was passionate about. I saw the niche in the rapping world. I wrapped one celebrity's car, and then I used to outsource everything. Not many people know that. So when I started,
cheeky.
I would take it to you to wrap, that person to tint, that person to do the wheels, this person to do the paintwork or whatever it was. And so I'd come to you, get the car, yeah, and you'd be like, I want this. No, I'll do it all for you, no problem. I'll drive away from you, and I'll take it to 5 different places, charge you all the money, give everyone their money, and I'd make a huge profit. It was me and one guy, and we used to drive around in a smart car.
Yeah,
okay,
clever.
And then obviously the likes of Instagram and everything came out, and they're like, Yianni, where's your place? I'm like, I got like a big place. Yeah, where is it? I want to come see your place. Oh, I'm doing it up. I had no place. It was me in a smart car driving around. So I was about to get exposed, and I was like, I think I need to get premises now.
But do you know what, though? But that's all part of the hustle. They were the days where you had to pretend you were bigger than you were to kind of get the work. Because, it was, I'm trying to think of examples that I probably did. I mean, we started Grenade from a spare bedroom. And when we were doing sort of probably 500,000 in turnover, and not taking a day off and not taking a salary, people thought we were doing 5 million in turnover. So it was all that perception. So we had to go and get a premises at some point as well.
It is. And I don't think it's, people might think, well, you're faking it till you make it. I don't know if it's faking it till you're making it, because you're not faking it, because you still have a business and you have the opportunity and you're growing it. But
you're managing your costs. You've got to manage the overheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to manage those overheads. So you're and I guess as well, you were taking it to the best person that did each individual job
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
And I would stand on those. So they would do the work, and I'm like, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy. And they're like, bloody hell, Yianni, you're so fussy. And I'm like, well, it falls on me because I'm the one that's giving it to the customer. And they think I'm doing the work.
And you're the one that's got the personality they're getting on well with, that you're building a relationship with. So you're right. It's got your face on it. So what a horrible thought's got your face on it.
But attention to detail. I'm very meticulous, and it needs to be right. And as I say, if you get on with people, listen, when you work with people that are high net worth or celebrities, the biggest concern they have is trust.
Yeah.
So
and getting ripped off.
So they got to be able to trust you. And the thing is, you only need to do one bad job or rip one player off, and they're all in the training ground and they're talking, Yianni ripped me off, friend. You're finished. I've been around 15 years. I don't rip no one off. Do I make money? Of course I make money. I'm a business.
Yeah.
But I don't rip no one off, and I'm on call. Players, so I don't know if you're into football. Are you into football at all?
I'm not into football.
Okay, so in brief, players usually, the football game is usually on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But they usually stay in a hotel on the Friday night. So in the hotel, they're sitting there Friday night and they're like, I'm bored. What do I do? Do you know what they do? They message me. Yanni, I just seen this online. Yanni, I just seen this online. Yanni, I want this car. Yanni, I want it. Because they're just sitting there bored.
Yeah.
And I would do most of my work on a Friday evening when they're all messaging me. And I'd have 5, 6 different players messaging me saying, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want this. They'd play on the Saturday. I'd go to the house on the Sunday and I'd close the deal. Because I'm on. A lot of people, 6 o'clock, I'm not working no more. That's it. My day's done. What are you talking about? No one cares about 9 to 5 anymore.
Yeah.
It's before that and it's after that. Because that's when your phone's not ringing off the hook and you can actually do the graft.
People used to talk about work-life balance, and it's become work-life blend to the point. Yeah, if I'm awake, I'm working. You know, I'm doing stuff. I'm the same, and that's an entrepreneurial thing as well. I think just doing what you say you'll do when you say you'll do it, doing it well, and it's really simple, isn't it? Just doing what you say you'll do properly. And I find that's a lot of people struggle with that. I get lots of people reach out to me, want to send me product samples, and 90% fail at the first hurdle because just go, well, just send me one, send me a sample. And a lot don't. And they've already got my attention. You think, all you have to do is send me one.
That's it. You know, you don't know what's going to come from that.
No, you don't. It's amazing how many people just don't do that. But again, you know, how much do you want it? And I do sometimes question nowadays, are people hungry for this? Like, probably definitely you were hungry back in the day, or I was hungry back then. I know it's easy to look back sort of 20 years later. But I think of the stuff that I used to do. I used to drive miles to make a £15 sale. I'd lost money on, but again, it was, I'd get the next one and the next one, the next one, you know, driving to a gym and putting stuff in sale and return. And, you know, for a long time I made no money, but I knew it could go somewhere when you build it up. So I'd imagine in your early days, when you said about you're making money, I'd imagine the first few jobs you did you make anything at all? Did you learn how to sort of price it?
Or? You got to learn. You just have to learn. But I didn't care. Initially, it wasn't about making money. It was about, can I build the brand? Can I grow this? Yeah, I need money because I need to survive. But you don't know your pricing structure. You don't know, well, you know, I need to charge £500 for this or £700 for that. All I was doing is, if this is what you're charging me, I'm just going to stick a drink on the top of it. Yeah. You understand? So I can make my money.
And protecting the downsides. If things go wrong and you have to redo it, you can,
it falls on top. So people like, well,
end up in
someone
trouble.
say, oh, Yanni, you charge me £3,000 to wrap a car, I can get it done for £2,500. I'm like, okay then. I said, and this is what I try and explain to people in business, what people don't understand. When you've just come to pick up your car and you've paid me your £3,000, you're smiling, I'm smiling. I've just been paid and you're happy with your car. Great, easy. But in 3 months' time or 6 months' time, you've got an issue with your car and you phone me, that is when I show you how good my company is. Because I've already been paid now. So now you're actually costing me money. So do I stand on and say, you know what, I'll rewrap your door, your wing, your bumper, and come and see me straight away? Or do I say, oh, well, you know what, that's part of the wrap, and you know what, I can't really do nothing. You're like, hold a minute, I've paid my money. And that is where you stand on. A lot of companies, they fall flat on their face because they've used all their money, and they can't afford to lay out another £300 or £400. If I have to rewrap your car under warranty, I'll rewrap. And if it costs me £5,000, I don't give a shit.
Well, and I tell you what as well, I know the answer to this. How many of your customers are repeats?
Everyone.
There you go. Yeah.
I have a 3-month wait list, and let's say there's 100 cars there, 100 customers. I'll promise to tell you 90 are repeat customers. I can't get new customers into me because the repeat business are there all day long, and that is your bread and butter. And I put it online recently where my customers are handpicked, and they're like, "Oh, what does that mean? I can't get my course wrapped?" No, of course you can, but you probably have to wait 4 or 5 months to get it in. Yeah, but why is that? Because I've got repeat customers that have already been using me for years. I've got to prioritize them. I can't. What can I just
built the business?
They built. I've got to prioritize people. And something that I learned from my mum that she taught me from a very young age is never ruin your name. Make sure your name,
especially your name,
is always, not many people know my name, but yeah.
I'm going to give it a go. Bear in mind, we're probably, 15, 20 minutes in. Charalambous.
Perfect.
There you go. Done.
There you go. That's why you get paid the big bucks.
That's exactly. They only have to tell me once. It's all up here.
Exactly. But they say never ruin your name. So that way then people will always work with you, never owe anyone any money, never knock no one, never do nothing. So that way I can pick up the phone to anyone and ask for anything and they'll do it because my name, my word, and I stand on for everything. That is what's important nowadays. If you have that, listen.
I love that. It's old school.
Some people don't listen. Some people may not like you as a person, as a character. That's fine. And same with me. But you can't ever say I owe you any money or I've knocked you, I've done something wrong. And that is what shows what you're about as an individual. Yeah,
reputation's really valuable because everyone's got one. It takes a long time to build and it's very, very easy to lose.
Very easy.
And actually, again, I learned years ago, it's easier to keep, and you all know this obviously, it's easier to keep existing customers happy than just keep looking for new ones. I see a lot of businesses nowadays, and it's all about getting repeat customers and new customers. And you think, what about the last ones? They've sold them something once, and selling something to someone once is pretty easy. Doing it again and again and again is tricky, especially when they're spending a lot of money with you, because these are quite, they're big ticket items. People are precious over their cars, and these are.
And it's not.
expensive.
And don't forget, it's not a need. Listen, we're in recession and stuff like that. It's a want. It's not like you have to really get a haircut or you have to buy food. This is a luxury, and you're spending $3 grand, $5 grand, whatever it is on a car. And it's like, do I need to do that? But my client base that I have, the recession doesn't affect
I love
them.
it, because I didn't think there were going to be that many similarities between what you do and what I do. But when you think about it as well, you're right. Again, we sell something that people, they want but they don't need.
Yeah.
And it is powerful. It does insulate you a bit, again, with the economy and stuff, which is lucky. But a lot of that does come back down to what you said, those old school values, and just doing what you say when you say you'll do it. And being available. I mean, I hate being on my phone 24/7, but it is a sign of the times. And how do you ever switch off from that? Obviously, you've got kids, I don't. So how do you prioritise that bit of family time? Do you have like set times of the week, or you try and turn?
This is where you make sacrifices, and this is where sometimes it works against you, where sometimes it is difficult to block out family time. So I've got a 16-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy, and a 2-year-old daughter.
Oh, big range then.
So so it is very, very difficult. And obviously you try to, but it's like you're sitting there talking, and the phone will ring, and you'll look, and you'll be like, oh, I've got to answer that call because it's one of your big people, and you're like, I can't not answer that. And then, but
that's not me, by the way. I get you never answer the phone when I ring you.
So it is very difficult, and I think the balance is probably the key word. I think it is trying to find a balance. But the problem is, you go on a holiday, you never ever have a normal holiday.
No, I've not had a day off since 1991. I think
you're away, your phone's on, you're still doing stuff, and you don't switch off. But then you need people around you to understand that, and that is why you live in the nice big house, and we drive the nice cars, and we do the nice holiday, because of the graft we put in. So you're losing on one end, but then you have a lifestyle. And it's like, well, I'll work for X amount a year, so then for the rest of my life, I can enjoy and be a lot more relaxed and spend more time. But as they're growing up, you might miss the early stages of their thing. So my daughter, I spend a lot of time with her because it's my daughter.
But you know how I know as well how busy you are with how quick you are responding, because I'm the same. Because people say to me, you respond really fast. I say yes, but don't do it straight away. I won't do it because it'll get buried.
They get buried, exactly that. You get the message, then it's there, and it's just like.
Someone said to me once, if you want something doing, ask a busy person. And it's weird, isn't it? If you get someone who's actually not that busy, they don't prioritise anything when you're busy. You do learn to prioritise quite quickly. And if I haven't replied in 24 hours, I'm either dead or I'm not going to reply.
Okay, do you notice on my WhatsApp, I don't have any notifications? Have you noticed that?
No. Yes, I have actually.
So I don't have that. So people at home are watching this thinking, what do you mean notifications? Where you have like either like the 2 ticks or the green tick. I have mine off. So then you don't know whether I've read the message or whether I've seen it or whatever, because that way then you can't be like, well, I've seen you read the message. And you know what the worst thing is? When you send me a message and someone puts a question mark, don't put a question mark afterwards. I'll reply when I can reply. I don't need you to put a question mark. But I'm on it. The phone's always in my hand. This is probably the longest I haven't had my phone.
I can literally see you sweating. Oh, God.
Even though I've got messages on it already, that's what I'm saying.
Do you want go on, who's messaged you of interest? Anyone famous messaged you in the last 15, 20 minutes? Just make someone up if they haven't. No,
to be fair, early on my way up, Sanya did. Bakary Sanya. He's an Arsenal football player. He's just flown in. It was his birthday yesterday. He's just flown in, so we're going out for dinner for his birthday tomorrow. So he's an Arsenal football player. He used to play Arsenal and Man City.
If Simon Cowell rings, you're allowed to take it, because we should put him on speaker.
Yeah, let's do that.
just to mess him up. So so when you started the business then, did it just kind of take off, or did you still have that period that most businesses probably go through, where for the first 4 years I was just glad to wake up and I'd not gone bust overnight? Did you ever were there real seat of the pants moments, tight on cash, have I done the right thing? What am I doing? Is it the best thing I've done? Is it the worst thing I've done? Did you ever go through any of that? Or
no, and do you know why?
No.
Because I had no overheads.
Okay, yeah.
And my cousin used to take the mick out of me. He was like, if I say overheads to you, it's like you get scared. So it was me and one guy working for me. So I didn't have huge overheads. I didn't have anything. So literally whatever I made, I would pay him whatever he was getting on, £400 a week or whatever. And the rest was mine. And at the time, I think I was living at home. And then obviously later on, I moved out. But my overheads were really, really low. And I was making so much money. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is it. Business is easy. And it's only then you get your premises and you realize, okay, so we got tax and we got national insurance and we've got this and we've got VAT and we've got this. So I'm just like, so I'm actually working for the government now.
What's this tax word you speak of?
Well, but you actually work for the government now, and people don't realise owning a business is not easy.
Did you find it? How did you find it employing people? Because it's one of the hardest things, especially early on, because we didn't really know what we needed in terms of employing people, because you need someone that can kind of do everything and they don't exist. So you end up wearing lots of hats. But did you find that? Because entrepreneurs find it hard to delegate. And I've seen you delegate. It's like, it's unbelievable. Like you go up there.
I'm quite ruthless.
Yeah, like, do that, move it. No, you ring him. No, do this, move that, turn that off, open the gate, shut the gate. Like, I'm amazed how involved you are.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of running. It looks like it's like organised chaos.
Yeah.
But it made me feel better, because I thought, oh, actually, that's
someone else like me.
Someone else like me. But did you find it difficult employing people?
The problem is, you ask any person that owns a business, what's the hardest thing? Staff.
Staff, yeah.
Trying to find staff, because you've got some staff that are very good.
Because are you easy to work for?
I try and have a family environment.
Okay.
If you see the videos on the Anima channel from years, you'll see that I've got a very good family environment. Yes, am I a hard boss? Of course. Do I expect you to deliver? But you get paid very well.
Yeah.
And sometimes where it's been,
I'm not asking for a job, by the way.
but sometimes where it's been really, really cool, they've let it slip and it become a social club. I'm like, guys, this is not a social club. This is business. As much as I'm quite relaxed and we have fun, as long as the work gets done, I'm relaxed. But what people don't realize is I'm paying you to come to work to do a job. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're coming to work for me to pay you. So, but some people think, well, you're doing me a favor. You're not doing me a favor. I'm paying you to come to work.
For their time, their skill.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's like, well, I'm worth a lot more money, or I can do this, or I can do that. And they see the Lambos and the Ferraris and the Porsches coming for every day of the week. And they think, this guy's making hundreds of millions. You don't realize all the expenses and all that got to get paid first. They don't see, they'll just see, oh, it's $5,000 for a wrap. Well, he just made $5,000. No, I never. And they don't understand. And when you're you can be the best.
Is that because it's not $5,000, it's 10?
15 for you. 15, but when you're the best,
mates rates.
When you're the best employee, doesn't make you a good business owner.
Yeah.
And it is a big reality check for people when they go into the business world, and you're not getting paid every single month. And when you go on holiday, you leave work at 5 o'clock and you don't think about work again until the following morning. When you own your own business, you're panicking. Have I got work tomorrow? Can I pay the bills? Yeah. I've got the rent coming. I've got a big VAT bill coming. Can I pay all? Then what? What are you going to do now?
When it hit me, I think it's when we were probably had about 5 or 6 staff, and it was starting to feel more serious, because it was really, for us, it was a hobby that turned into an obsession. Probably similar for yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly that.
A bit of a hobby, become obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I think they're the best businesses, because you start it for the right reasons. You didn't start it to make money. And then one of the guys, got a car loan, and I remember thinking, I felt like I had the loan, because it was like, God, if we don't, do well, and I can't pay him, he can't pay his car loan, or he can't pay his rent. And you start to feel this like sense of responsibility. And actually, I'm inherently quite lazy, actually. Okay. I've never been very good at working hard for me. But when other people relied on me, that kicked me up another gear. That kind of lights a fire under me, having that responsibility for others. And them looking up to you to kind of make the right decisions. And if it's not the right decision, you've got to try and make it the right decision. The pressure's unbelievable. People don't realise that, especially when you're laughing and joking.
Yeah, but when you're a boss, you're not just a boss. Your mum, your dad, your council worker, okay, your bank manager, your finance guy, your brother, your sister. So they'll come to you for anything. And if you've got 20 staff, every single person's problem is the biggest problem ever. So you could have just spoken to someone and they've just lost someone, but this person needs to pay a bill. I remember one of my guys said to me, oh yeah, I'm about to get kicked out of my house. I'm like, what's happened? He's like, well, with 4 of us, me and my 3 friends live there. I'm like, okay, like, we haven't paid the council tax. Why haven't you paid that? I don't know. Okay, so we need, and they obviously you pay it monthly, and they're like, we now need to pay £1,500. I'm like, well, there's 4 of you, obviously, have you not got the money? No. Okay, so you're coming to me, yeah. I said, have they all got bosses? Yeah. Have they gone to their bosses? No. So you want me to pay the council tax. And that's what I'm saying. And I paid it for him, because I'm not going to get him kicked out of the house. But
it's difficult, though, because the problem is people don't learn in some of these situations. And they always say, don't they, with family, friends and money and that, not to get involved. And it's difficult when you care about your team. And also you kind of want that problem to go away for them, so they can get back to work and doing what you pay them for, because that's good for you and that's good for everyone else and also good for them. So it's a bit of a vicious circle. It's difficult then when you come to that point where you have to say no.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like me, you'd probably find that quite difficult, though.
I want to help everyone. And I've been burnt in the past where I've gone above and beyond for certain people, and they've stabbed me in the back and they've left and they've talked shit and they've said this. I'm like, man, I've done so much for you. I remember one of my guys, he had a hearing problem. I paid for his ears to get his thing done. And then I had another guy who had his head smashed open. I paid his wages for 3 months. And because obviously he smashed his... No thanks, no nothing. And then when they leave, they're like, oh yeah, Yianni was this, Yianni was that. And I'm like, wow, you really forgot about what I actually did for you. You got that short a memory.
Have you ever employed friends back in the early days?
Yes, I've employed friends.
Did that work?
Yes, so like someone, Andrew, who used to work for me, but he's a great guy.
I met Andrew. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
a great guy. So I've got friends and I've got friends. So yeah. He's a great guy. So yeah, but there's sometimes where you want to help people out and they take the piss because they're friends with you and they think, well, I can get away with it. And then when you've got to let them go, well, how can you do that for me? I'm like, you're not doing anything. You've got an opportunity. I've given you an opportunity. I'm paying you more than what I should be paying you because you're my friend. At least do the graft. At least do the work.
I don't think I've ever had, say, employed friend that's become then an amazing employee, but I've had amazing employees that have become fantastic friends.
Yeah.
So I think you can do it the other way around.
Correct, I agree.
But yeah, I don't think you can kind of start off with a friendship, because when you start off, because I did that, and you employ mates, and again, they'd rock up late because they've been to the supermarket and whatever, and they've gone done the week shopping, and it's like, it's 9:30, where I've gone done my week shopping.
And they say it's so blasé.
I know.
Just over there. And it's like, but
it was one of the first people I employed as a mate, and I was like, but yeah, kind of need you at work because that's why I pay you. He said, well, yeah, but you go to Sainsbury's in the middle of the day. Yeah, I own the business. I've been here since 4:00 this morning, and I'll be here till midnight. I've got to do it at some point. But yeah, they start looking at what you do as the business owner and think, oh, that's okay. But they don't see the fact that, they go into the family, and then you're worrying about it all night till midnight, trying to pay the bills.
I'll tell you two things. One person said to me once, and I wanted to kill him, he was like, what's right for you? You drive a Lambo. Wow. So that's how you see me. Okay, you're not going to last here long.
Yeah.
And the other thing, do you know what one of my pet hates is? So if you're due to start at 8:00, if you're going to be late, it happens, traffic, whatever, send me a message. But send me a message before 8:00. They'll send me a message at 8:15. I'm going to be late.
Yeah, I
know you're late. It's already 8:00. It's gone. And then they'll literally, and I'm like, why don't you send me a message at 8:15? I'm going to be an hour late at 8:30. But you would have known that at 7:30 or 7:00. Why didn't you tell me then? And if they tell me before, it is what it is, unless you take the piss regular. But these are basic things, and they can't do them. And honestly, the little things drive me mad. They drive me mad. And I'm like, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. You knew that you were supposed to be on time. You're supposed to come to work. Just send me a message. I'm really easy. I'm really relaxed. But I'm asking for basic things here. Culture's
hard because you want to keep that culture of kind of, the family environment, the family business. But yeah, there's responsibilities and pressures and overheads. And ultimately, you've got kind of high net worth clients, again, who are busy, hardworking people who are paying good money to get something done properly first time. My bugbear is people not doing things properly first time, them needing 3 or 4 goes, because by the second go, to be honest, I'm pretty irritated.
Yeah.
But, it's like, I haven't got time to do everything 4 times. So that baffles me how many people just can't get it right first time. Through just, and through their own fault, really, as well, in the sense that not something unexpected happened. But they just didn't do it properly. Just attention to detail.
Anyone can make a mistake, and that's fine. But when you're repeating it continuously over, I'm like, come on, man, enough's enough now.
Would you say this is your dream job?
Bear
in mind, you've had 400 others.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my dream job. I think it's the job I'm most passionate about and something that I really enjoy. And because I love cars, is something that I really, really love. So, is it a dream job? I don't know. I just love it. And the thing is, I always loved the football industry. So, I managed to get, so pretty much I can experience everything a footballer experiences bar playing on the field. So I would turn up to the training grounds, I'd park in the first team car park, I'd be at the boxes, I'd be in the players' car park, I would go in I can go everywhere like a football player, I just obviously didn't play. But so I experienced what a football player experiences, and it's insane.
Without having to do any of the hard work?
Without having to train every day of the week. Exactly. and it's great. And the only problem is it does make you see things differently because you deal with football players all the time. You know how they think. So you're not into football, but Arsenal, Tottenham are big rivals. So when Arsenal and Tottenham play, it's like, right, they're playing and it's a London derby and they hate each other, yeah. So I'd say to the player, oh my God, it's a derby, like, you excited? Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean it's an Arsenal Tottenham derby? And they're like, yeah. And I'm just like, okay, that burst my bubble.
Do you know what? Is that because obviously they're super passionate about football, but the minute they start getting paid to do what they love, it ruins a bit of the enjoyment.
Yeah, not all players. So when you have your John Terry's hardcore, Chelsea through and through, oh my God, yeah, big games. He's that kind of guy. But other players, I think when a lot of the foreigners came over, it was they weren't as passionate like the English players were, because obviously it's the Premier League and you're playing England and things like that. But yeah, football was something that I really loved, and I really enjoyed. And I said, to be around it, I'd go to a game, and I remember I'd look at a pitch, and let's say Tottenham were playing Chelsea. I'd look at the pitch and I'd be like, all right, Arsenal players, right, so I've done 9 of the players on that team, and I've done 6 of the players on that team. I'm like, yes, look how many players I've done. I need to get a few more of them.
I love the fact that you measure business success in footballers.
Because that's how I built the business. And nowadays, everyone thinks getting a celebrity is how you're going to get your business out there, because you want to hope they're going to promote you on social media, and that's how you grow the brand.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it used to be. Growing your social media now, because everyone's doing promotions and everyone just has hashtag ad, and it doesn't always work. It needs to be real.
Do you know what? Authenticity is huge. You can't just, I don't think anyway, you can't just pay people to say you've done a good job. Yeah. I just think it's transparent. You can just see straight through it.
It's really easy.
So I really like the authenticity for sure.
Yeah, if you enjoy the product and you're happy with, I work with quite a few brands, but there's loads of brands that I'll just turn down because I'm like, I don't like that product, or it's not going to be real. I've done something recently with HelloFresh. HelloFresh, like the food company. Yeah. I don't cook and everything. They approached Neil, who my manager at Insanity, and he was like...
Neil's also my manager as well, so I know it's hard to believe.
And he was like, do you want to do this? And I was like, you know what, yeah. And we've done an incredible video, and I actually really enjoyed it. And HelloFresh watched it, and they were like, this is one of the best videos ever, because I was so into it. I don't cook, and I was cooking, and I was doing this, and I had to put this here, and I can't cook. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like, I loved it. And it came across on camera. So it wasn't even a brand deal anymore. It was me just having fun and cooking.
You see, that's why I say, is it your dream job? Because the downside of being an entrepreneur is you're always looking at the next thing. You can't help it. So contentment doesn't exist, does it really? Because you get to all the places that you think you're going to get to, it's great. You get there, but then you can't help but look at the next one. And I can just, because you've got a podcast, haven't you, as well, which does sort of pretty well, and the TV show on Dave, which I think
on
BBC now, I see the BBC have stolen it. So what was that like working with Dave and filming on Dave?
It was great. So they approached us for the show, and usually...
Just from where? They just saw you on social media?
YouTube. So I've done loads of YouTube stuff. So we're filming wrapped cars and things like... We've done a car for KSI, and that done like 30 million views and whatever. When you do that sort of level. And they were like, we really like him. He's a good presenter. We think he can have his own show. So I'm like, okay, then what are you going to call it? And they're like...
It's you they're talking about?
Me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, yeah, we'll have his own show. I was like, okay, what are you thinking to call it? And they're like, we're going to call it Yianni Supercar Customiser. I'm like, it's my own TV show. You're calling it Yianni Supercar Customiser. And so when Neil was talking to them, we're like, okay, well, how many episodes? Now, usually when you're an unknown on TV, they're like, okay, we'll try and maybe do six episodes and see how it goes. They're like 20. And me and Neil were like, what? 20 episodes off the bat? They're like, we genuinely believe it's going to work. And they gave me 20 off the bat series 1. And I was like, wow, then obviously we've done 3 series. And it was insane. It was a lot of hard work, because obviously we're trying to deal with it while we're filming, while we're working day-to-day business. So everything gets slowed down.
Do you have to turn up the drama though as well?
Right. So they wanted it scripted. And I was like, I won't do scripted. I said, because people see through it. I said, listen, I promise you, film me long enough, things will go wrong. Oh, we don't know. I'm like, listen.
Have you met me?
Yeah, exactly. And listen, things went wrong. So I had 2 of my staff have a full-blown punch-up on the series. Paul Oz, you know Paul Oz?
I know Paul, yeah.
We wrapped his car the wrong orange. Okay.
Always very specific about the orange
he's an artist, so he knows.
Yeah,
and we'd already wrapped 2 of his cars previously, so I went nuts on camera. Something else happened. Like, literally, things went wrong. And they were like, yeah, you were right, Yianni. We didn't need to set nothing up. The only thing they did was they calculated time. So when someone was going to come, we knew what time they were going to turn up.
Yeah.
And which you have to do. But overall, it was actually real. And it was great. And it was a great experience. It taught me loads. You don't make big money.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was huge exposure. And I was the guy. So early days, I was like, you're the guy that wrapped KSI's car. I was like, okay. And then they're like, you're the fella off the telly. Yeah, because it's a different audience. And now I get you're the guy on CarWow.
Yeah,
because CarWow do like 10, 50 million views. So I've got 3 different demographics. I've got my young, my middle, my older, which is great. So when everyone wants to do a brand deal with me or an advertising, they're like, what's your audience? I'm like, 18 to 35. And they're like, yeah, perfect.
Has anyone ever turned up with a car boat that needed wrapping by any chance?
Some random guy that owns some small company. He wanted it.
Do you want to explain this one?
Right. So, over here turned up with a car boat. Now, if you're thinking, what's a car boat? You probably can see it on the screen right now. I think they'll show it to you. And
we'll pin it below.
We'll pin it below. And he wanted it wrapped in grenade and the orange and the logos and the branding. And we were supposed to take it on the river. And so we wrapped it. We were going to go out to sea. We wrapped it, and it looked incredible. So you can drive it on the road, and you can obviously take it on the sea. And it was very weird. We've never done that before. We've done boats and we've done cars, but never a car boat.
Never a car boat. Yeah, this came from some great friends of ours at ProDrive who'd developed this vehicle called a Humdinger. And I saw it and wanted it. Brilliant. I thought, I've got to get that. So, we've become known for getting various vehicles. And, again, being into cars and other forms of transport. And, we decided it was in a grey, wasn't it? It looks okay in the grey, but we wanted to make it a bit more...
It was like a battleship, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit more grenadey. And, of course, there's only one person we could bring it to do this.
But they weren't available.
No, they weren't available.
See that? I've done that because I knew he would have made that joke.
Yeah, I knew where that was going. Took it down to Yianni, who, again, moved a lot around. Because I know that was a pain in the arse for you as well, to be fair.
And it was huge. It's not like it just fits in your unit and it only goes...
It was quite big.
Anyway,
we had issues with insurance in terms of we couldn't get it insured to take it out on the water. But who knows? Just as well, really, because we were going to sink in that. That would have sunk.
You and me on it. That would have been. Would have gone viral though.
It would have gone viral.
I don't think our family would have been happy, but you know what I mean. Online, they'd have loved it. Al and Yianni gone. Thank God for that. Them two annoying. So sorry.
Wow. That's right. Yeah, we'll blur that. We can blur that out. But the nice thing about that, anyone else would have said no. I think they'd have just said no.
Yeah.
But because it was you as well, nothing was too much trouble, which again, it's just that entrepreneurial streak. You knew it was going to be difficult. And again, it took up 2 bays and whatever in the place. But again, just great content, great fun, really enjoyed doing it. Not been done before, bit of a first. And you look for a way to say yes to that, which we'll much appreciated.
Yeah, I love a challenge. And to be fair, you and all your team. Because obviously I hadn't met you before. I hadn't met the team before. It was actually really cool, and I think you got a very good team around you. Very professional. And I enjoy working with people that listen. You are very successful. You're very successful, and it's not me here blowing smoke up your ass. But you're very successful. But the way you are, you're just a normal person, and it's very difficult when someone's worth that level and they've succeeded so well. Usually they're a little bit different, or they think they're a little bit special. You're not. So
I don't think I'm successful. Would you class yourself as successful out of interest?
Listen,
it's difficult you look at other people.
There's so many different levels of success. Yeah. Listen, am I successful versus you? No. But versus someone else? Of course. So it depends where you put yourself. I think you can only do what you want to do for yourself. And am I happy in my own space and what I've done so far? Definitely. And what I've achieved, because it's a TV show and big YouTube and the client base I've had and things. Yeah, incredible. But would I want more? Yes. And I think that is the entrepreneurial side. And people think, it's greedy. It's not greedy. You crave success. I like success. It's not about, people always make it about money. It's not about money. It's about doing the next great thing. You understand? And I've had the TV show. Now I'd love to do my own series where it's not obviously I've got a podcast on BBC, but it's not the podcast thing. I want to do where you interview people. Like a Jonathan Ross or an Alan Carr.
Yeah.
I want that sort of talk show. That is where I see myself moving forward in the future.
And do you think the show will change now it's on BBC?
So they bought
because Dave's perfect for you because it's got that personality and get away with a lot. But
correct. So they've bought the rights to the 3 series. So that is now on every day, Monday to Friday. And now we're in talks obviously to see what's going to happen moving forward. I think I'll be honest, it was great doing it, and I think it's been done now. So I think it needs to change. But because obviously I've moved to Milton Keynes, we've got a huge setup alongside my partner at Urban. It'll be a different ball game because my business was quite small. Now we've got a body shop in house. We're building Cullinans and G-Wagons and Rolls Royces and Defenders and Range Rovers and Lamborghinis. It's a different animal now. So I think the show needs to be tweaked slightly. But there's huge opportunity.
So it's not just rapping, you're doing other mods and stuff as well, and you've got to take it to the next scale.
Yeah.
Do you worry that you'll lose the essence of what's you? Because obviously you've built this amazing brand doing what you do. How do you keep hold of that as it gets bigger? Because they turn into monsters, don't they, these businesses?
So I've got bigger, but I've got smaller. So what I done was I downscaled Yianni and partnered up with Urban. So where I had 10 bays.
I know who Urban are, but just for those who don't know.
Urban Automotive are a big company that that modify Range Rovers, Lamborghinis, Rolls-Royce, Cullens. They put body kits on the car, so they have their own brand. So where you'd have a Range Rover on the front of a car, it says Urban there. And they're huge. So I've gone in there. So I've downscaled the wrapping side, and that's why it's handpicked clients only to look at other opportunities. Because the issue is I'm always busy, and I haven't got time to do anything. So like, I'll be honest, if this had come up a year ago, I would have struggled to even come this far, because to come out there and I'd be sitting there panicking my phone. What are my staff doing? I need to look at the cameras. I'm like this. Whereas now I've got a team up there, and I've got a team in Enfield, that like my media hub, where they do all my filming and all my creative stuff. So I've filmed a load this week, so I know they're all editing now, so I don't have to worry about them. And then obviously next week I'll go back and film again. So it's a different animal, but we're gonna have some fun with this.
I need to come see that place.
You need to come to Milton Keynes. You'll be like, wow. You'll be like, wow, this is a serious setup.
Oh, it gives me ideas as well, though.
You're gonna come buy some cars, but you'll leave buying 2 cars. You'll be that guy. When you walk in there, be like, yeah, sorry, mate. You have to stand outside, look at the car. You're like, yeah, I'll take 3 of those, please.
I can't go to a game fair without buying a car.
Love it. Listen, what a position to be in, though. Let's be honest.
Well, I like unusual stuff, but have you ever wrapped a
helicopter?
I know,
I've walked around, sorry to interrupt you, I've walked around your house, and you've got some serious unusual stuff around here, and it's amazing.
I like collecting things.
I know.
So I've got quite an obsessive personality. There was a lot of talk at Grenada a few years ago what the next sort of obsession would be, and I started collecting gin bottles. I've sort of told you about that one.
Yeah,
no one had that. Then it was Star Wars Lego. No one had that, because I don't know what the next thing's going to be.
What you see and what you like.
Until I suddenly get into it. I think it's these obsessive personalities that entrepreneurs tend to have. I love asking people this as well, but what's your biggest fear as an entrepreneur? What would make you most scared? Because while you think about that, you'll get lots of questions from people who want to start a business and stuff like I do, and they're always hesitant to get started, and everyone's scared. So I like to ask people what their biggest fear would be. Is it losing everything, or losing the ability to do what you do?
Shall I be honest with you? As you get older, your mindset changes, and I think now I've got to a stage where I want to enjoy my life a little bit more. But I love working. So I think it's trying to find that balance. Yes, of course, you always worry about losing it or not being able to fulfill or not have customers and stuff like that. But I've had a good run and I've enjoyed what I do. And I'm someone that if I lost it all, I will go again and I'll graft again, because I'm a grafter and I like to work, and I surround myself with incredible people that if one of us went down, if one of us had a problem, the other person could phone that person and that person would help build them back up. And I think that's really, really important. The people around you are so key. And they don't all have to be multimillionaires or whatever, but if they're good people and they're successful in their own right, they will always help you. So yes, you always have the fear to lose everything, but I've got really good people around me. So I know if it did go the wrong way, I've got support.
Do you find because would you say you're a risk taker? You've had all these different jobs, different businesses. Do you find your attitude to risk changes though as you've got older? Yeah,
when you have kids, when you get older, you're getting to a stage now where you're thinking, you know what? If I was 55 or 60, it's difficult to do it again. I'm still young enough to be like, okay, I can go again. But you don't want to. You've done it now. And a lot of my friends have made money, lost it all, and had to go again. And I think that is where it's very difficult.
But because I never worry about making mistakes, but you need time to be able to recover from them. And you're right, you don't want a mortgage when you're 60 or 70 or starting a business when you're 70, because again, if it goes wrong, you haven't got time to recover. Whereas in your 20s, what's the worst that can happen? You'll mess it up, you'll learn, and you'll do it again. But I always try and encourage people just to start. Don't stop thinking about it. Start, and the earlier the better, because the sooner you start, the quicker you start learning.
They overthink.
And you'll have learned all these mistakes from the other businesses that you had, the milkshake shop. You'll have learned stuff with that now. That's a mistake that you won't make. In the car business.
But that's that's a mistake that I won't make.
As in, don't put milk in cars, because that doesn't work. They don't tend to run on milk.
Or fish.
Never put fish in cars. Sorry,
but people don't learn with mistakes though. That's the issue. Someone makes a mistake and they make it again. I'm like, you saw that didn't work. Why have you done that again?
Yeah, they keep doing it and they don't learn.
And that's the biggest problem. Whereas if I make a mistake, I'll be like, right, I will not do that again. I know I've made a mistake there, and I'm grown enough to be like, that was a mistake, rather than be too big-headed and be like, no, I didn't make a mistake. Exactly how it went to plan. No, it didn't. It was a mistake. You've messed up.
What do you think's been to date? What's the biggest thing that you've messed up? Do you think? If there's one thing. Doesn't have to be with Yianni Mize, but again, was it one of the businesses that you had, or? And you think absolute disaster. What was I thinking? Maybe you've never made a mistake. I love the fact it's taken a long time to think about it.
No, I've made a mistake. I'm trying to think what was a. Shall I tell you what a mistake is? Go on. I didn't learn a trade. So it wasn't
despite your wood cutting certificate from Do It All.
And my thing. I think, and this is something that I advise to kids, and especially my kids, have a trade. Because a trade is an incredible thing to fall back on, whether you be an electrician or a plumber or whatever it is. Because that way then you can always do something. I don't have a trade. I didn't do well at school. I'm just a businessman, entrepreneur, grafter. I can't rap. I'm known as the rap king, yet I can't rap a panel. Do I know how to rap? Do I know the process? Do I know what needs to be done? Do I know everything about? I know it from A to Z.
But you couldn't do it yourself out of interest. I physically
can't apply vinyl. But I'm the rap king. Imagine. But then I use Richard Branson doesn't fly planes.
Yeah.
Elon Musk don't build Teslas.
Interesting. Yeah.
Understands. So
again, it's that delegation point. I said years ago actually as well that I conduct the orchestra. I don't run around trying to play all the instruments.
Yep.
And I think you're probably good at conducting the orchestra.
No, you play your position, play your role. That's not what you do. You're not that guy. You're not there in the factory making the bars. That's not what you do. But getting it out there to the masses and talking to people and networking and building a brand and a business, that's what you do. And that's what I do.
Well, I think that's what you think differently.
Yeah.
So just having the ability to think differently and see things differently, again, is a really powerful skill. It's like you say you don't have a trade, but again, you've got the gift of the gab. You've got that amazing personality just to connect with people and get along with people. And I think that's free. It amazes me more people don't make the most of their personality. Yeah. Everyone's got one, or rather they don't.
So I'll tell you what happens. So when I'll go out and I'll go to a car show or whatever, and I'll get a mum and a dad, our son's a massive fan and he wants a picture and this and that. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, does your son or daughter speak? Oh yeah. So let them speak. Let them speak to me. Because if they can speak to me and I'm classed as famous, they'll be able to speak to anyone.
Yeah.
They're like, okay then. But he's shy. That's okay. And I'm like, hi, what's your name? Oh, hi. I'm like, you like cars? Yeah. And when
I've seen you do that.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, I've seen you do
because
that.
Because it's basic stuff. Like my kids from a young age, if we went to a restaurant, they would order. Okay, like the dad would be like, okay, so what do you want? Okay, so he wants this, he wants this. No, let the kids order. Let the kids speak to people. Communication, because it's online now, no one talks to anyone. And you need that skill. You need to be able to talk to people. It's basic stuff.
Yeah, see, I learned that ability working in a gym. Because I was actually quite shy as well when I was a teenager. But being in a gym where everyone's a lot older than me and all these, massive guys coming in, I'm like on work experience, 15 years old, and they're all like 25, and they're adults and nightclub doormen and, people from all walks of life. And yet, you get eaten alive in gyms, in those sort of gyms, certainly back then, if you're not careful. So you've got to kind of stand up for yourself. And you've got to, I learnt everyone's name. And we had 500 members. I knew everyone's first name, and just the ability to kind of to do that, like you said, it's very basic stuff. But yeah, just learning how to get along with people is massive. Yianni, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. What's next? What's the future? Building Milton Keynes?
Yeah, Milton Keynes pretty much built. I think it's more TV, more social media, more content. I think content is the way forward. That is why I built a media hub in Enfield now. So more content, more networking.
Any content you'd like to do that you've not done yet? What's your dreaming for? Because there's so much stuff out there now. If there's something you could do,
I want to film a bit more abroad. I really like the weather. I like sun, and the problem is when you live in the UK, you don't spend a lot of time in the sun.
That's true.
So I'd like to film a lot more content abroad. But
we should have taken the car boat over to Dubai, shouldn't we? I bet we'd have got insurance there.
Probably. Just getting it to Dubai would have been the problem, though.
Getting it over there.
So I think just more content and just networking with good people, meeting good people. I think that's really important. When you get older, you wanna spend time with good people and people that you like. And I think you can pick and choose when you've done things in life. And I want to pick and choose.
Do you know what? We might have had this conversation as well, because I was chatting to Neil about this. But when people say about what I want to do in future, and that's one of my answers, spending time with people that I really like. It sounds stupid, doesn't it? But because you sort of think, well, doesn't everyone want to do that? But a lot of the time, you don't. As you go through, you do what you need to do as you go through life. But spending time with people I like, trust and respect. But just doing things that are fun.
But we haven't, because we've been grafting. The times where our friends have gone out for dinners or for birthdays, we haven't gone because we're grafting. Whereas now we're fortunate enough that we're in a position that we can go for dinners, or we can spend time with people, or go on holiday, or even just someone coming around your house and just having a chat like this. Because this is really, as much as we're filming it and it's for a podcast, it's actually very informal. It's just two friends
quite healthy,
chatting.
I think, isn't it? It's quite nice. Healthy, because I've learned stuff. I never thought I'd say that, but I've learned stuff talking to you as well. Because you do, otherwise it's quite lonely, I think, being an entrepreneur, especially running a business. And I said earlier when we were off camera, there's only so many people you can actually discuss these things with, because a lot of my friends are business owners, and Grenade's probably a bit more developed than some of their businesses are, and they'll come to me, I'll go, guys, that's normal, trust me, that happened to us. What happened to us was worse because we did that. And it's like, oh, thank God for that, we thought it was just us. You think all these problems are like unique to you, like, you're the first person that's employed someone who's kind of messed you around or stolen from you, you've been a bad employee, or whatever. Go, yeah, that happens. And so I think sharing's really important, otherwise you'd go balmy.
I agree.
But I've got your present as well at great personal expense. You'll like this, because we launched these. I actually bought these with my own money because we're sold out. But you've got one of the first boxes of Oreo. Have you tried these yet?
I haven't.
You'll like them.
Wow, I do like Oreo, to be fair.
They're pretty good. So 2 years in the making. Yeah, actually, they came off my staff orders. I've actually bought those in my own money, so I'll be claiming that back on expenses.
Incredible.
But enjoy. Yanni, thanks for sharing.
So much.
Thanks for doing this. I know you're mega busy. Thanks for being such a good sport. And also for doing me a great deal on my 2 cars coming up, being wrapped. We'll just drop that at the end.
Appreciate you.
I know you look
so
after
much.
me. Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Just to please Yianni, I'm going to change my voice. I'm going to go up a notch because I know it makes his day. But that was Yianni Charalambous. Charalambous, close. It's a hard name, to be fair. That was Yianni Charalambous from Yianni Mize on Pull the Pin with me, Al Barratt. And make sure, if you've enjoyed today, there's more to come. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we can be found anywhere you download your podcasts. Speak to you soon.